Welcome, Jeanell.
Thanks, Alice.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing the Social Butterfly Club member spotlight.
My pleasure.
Yeah, so do you want to give a little introduction to our members, who you are and what you do?
Yes, hi, my name is Jeanell Greene. I live here in Westminster, British Columbia, and what I'm here on this planet for is to bring love and healing to the world. And so in my work, I work as a relationship coach, and I help couples be better, stronger, more loving to each other, help them heal. And I'm also a singer.
A fabulous singer at that, I
Thank
must
you.
say.
Thank you. I used to sing professionally, and now I sing church with my husband, and we do some, one-off performances.
Yeah, you guys are one of the loveliest couples I know. From the day you guys got married to now, which
right,
is
you
you
were
just
there.
celebrating your wedding anniversary.
Yes, it'll be-
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's 18 years together.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yes, 18 years and liking each other. 18 years
Yes.
of saying either not liking each other is a full and full of wax. But yeah, we have a really great, playful, fun, tight friendship.
And it's quite amazing because you're of Filipino background and
Yeah.
he's of mixed race.
Yes.
Right? So are there any challenges in this mixed race relationship?
Not at all. We grew up very similarly. Both our parents are together or were together until they passed.
Oh,
So I think we both had really strong role models, which I think a lot of people don't have,
right.
right? Or they come from, we've been married multiple times, and there's a lot of fear involved in some relationships. So I just do my part, and I learn a lot. A lot of what I teach is what I learned through practical means with my husband, and also having been in another previous marriage, that not going well, and learning from that, and just really taking an interest in people, and having gone through what I went through in my life, knowing what it's like to be in that dark place by yourself, and feeling helpless and hopeless, to being on the other side of it, feeling empowered and like anything is possible. And so 20 years ago, if you knew me, I was a very, very different person, and having done all the personal development I've done and the work and the coaching, and I also find like being with my couples or my clients, they teach me, and they help. They're actually part of my own healing process, because I believe that we are mirrors of each other, and when I listen to them, I'm like, yeah, I know what that's like, and also remembering compassion and empathy and just our own humanity. So I really just, now that I'm in sort of the second half of my life, I really tried to make my life about giving to others. Because I think my first half of my life was about me and me being successful and me getting what I want, and now I'm kind of shifted to like, okay, what is the legacy that I want to leave, and how can I touch hearts in ways that are creative and speak to my talent and my gifts.
Well, from what I've noticed, a lot of you are a very strong family, traumatic experience, leaving traces of fear or avoidance issues or abandonment issues, all sorts of phobias or patterns, right? Like some families don't ever talk about, if there's a conflict or whatever, they're just like, no, let's not talk about it, right? But then it blows up eventually. Or some people, get it all out, but say hurtful things in the moment of heat and then they regret it later.
Yeah.
So a lot of our healthy patterns are passed down from how we grew up.
Well, in my family, I have the best family. However, when we were growing up, it was like you would get in a fight, and you would quarrel, and then you would stomp off to your corners or to your room, you would cool down, and then you would come back into the living room with the family and act like nothing happened. And you just let it go. Like it was just don't make a big deal of it, let it go, we love each other, let's move on. However, as an adult, I really see that doesn't work a lot of times, because then resentment builds, and we try to avoid it, we try to sweep it under the rug, but eventually that rug starts to get bigger, and that pile gets bigger and bigger.
And also, I think there's emotional space. Like you may still be a family, but if you just don't talk as much or talk
Very,
but
very
very
surface.
shallow, right? But you don't talk about the real stuff that's bothering you. So
Right.
you don't want them to go, hey, that was an idiot move. You should have done this. You should have done that. You know, it's like adding oil to the fire. Like you're already on fire. They're like, oh, you were stupid for doing that. You know, like
Family has a whole other level of like triggering us, right?
Right.
There's like our friends who trigger us, there's society that triggers us, then there's family. That's like a whole new level.
yeah. I think the more you care, the more it hurts. Right? If you don't care, they're like, it's okay. All right, you say
Yeah.
that. But if your mother said that, you're like, whoa, like
Yeah.
that was harsh.
Yeah, I think it's because like with other people we think, oh well, they don't really know us, so like we just can't have more space for them. But when it's our family, we know they know all our secrets. They know,
Right.
you
Then
know.
it's a real judgment.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what does that say about my personality
Yeah.
or my own values or my behavior?
Yeah.
Right?
And I think too, family knows where your wounds are.
Right,
So they
right,
know how
right.
to poke it really
Yeah.
good. Like, they know the spot.
For sure.
Yeah.
So how do we overcome that? Let's say you have an overpowering mother or father who, you know, may say things that really hurt you. You know,
Yeah.
that maybe you have a different set of values. Let's say if you grew up in another country and you grew up in Canada. So like, there's not just a generational difference, but there's also value difference.
Yeah, for sure. I have a saying that I love, and it goes like this: pain and suffering only exist when you resist what is self. So what that really means is like if you resist that people are a certain way, or your finances are a certain way, or your body is a certain whatever it is that you're resisting is what causes the pain. However, if you can get to a point of like, this is my body, that's my mom, that's just who she is.
Oh, acceptance.
Acceptance, but like acceptance from a place of like not making wrong. Because some, you know, we love to judge other people. We think we're not judgmental. We're all judgmental, right?
Right.
And when we can just get that, that's being judgmental is what gets in the way of our connection, and you can see the impact of that. Now you can actually start to practice letting that go. Because again, everybody's our mirror, and so if there's something about your mom or that person that's upsetting you, it's because you're making it mean something about you.
Oh,
So-
it's your issue.
Yeah, so for example, if it's
okay.
an overbearing mom, like, what am I making that mean? Is she making me feel stupid? Is she making me feel like I have no control, or I have no freedom, or there's something that we make it mean about us or about them. But when we can just give that up and be like, well, maybe she's like this because she really loves me. Maybe she's like this because this is how her mom was with her. You know, and really just looking at it not from a place of defensiveness and like, ugh, but really of like curiosity.
Oh, right. So it's not a personal attack.
Yeah.
It's more like patterns they've inherited or issues
Exactly.
that they may have.
100%. Like, I think about my grandma, and until she died, I didn't know her past. So, you know, as growing up, she was so judgmental. She was always telling me that I was never doing the right thing, and she had a preference to men. So she treated she spoiled my brother,
Oh.
but like treated me and
The
my
girls?
sister like, and I was the eldest, so I would often
Oh.
try to parent my brother, and she would defend him, and so there was a lot of friction.
Wow.
And then and she, you know, she's very, she showed up as a very, what's the word? Not value morals, but very, yeah, like a moral person. What's the word?
Religious?
No, but just very
Righteous?
righteous, proper. You know, like she had it all together. This is what I mean. But when she died, I found out like she had 3 husbands, and she
You
got.
didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
What?
Like like all these things about her, like
Wow.
racy past, and I was like,
Oh.
so
grandma.
yeah, grandma. But then I
Wow.
really saw, I was like, oh, maybe she was that way with me, because she didn't want me to make the same mistakes that she made.
Also, she was protected.
Yeah, but in a really negative way,
Right.
which
But I
it
think-
seems
But I
anyway.
think sometimes when people have really painful experiences, they become very defensive, right? And all of that defensive that, you know, is a protection for the next generation.
I think the like Asian families are more of that. Like I see that very prevalent in Asian families, East Indians,
Right.
you know, Filipino, Chinese, Korean, like that's very strong. Is that
But
parental?
don't you think, like, Asian families don't have much boundary, you know, in terms of their personal boundary, like what should be said, what shouldn't be said. They're just like, if I think it's right, I'm gonna tell you right here and now. You know, I don't care if it hurts your feelings, but as long as your interest is protected, in my view, I'm gonna tell you how it is.
Yeah, totally, totally.
I'm just like, yo, you don't live my life. Like, how do you know that's the right thing to do or the right thing for this scenario? You know what I mean? Like,
but it's all from love. And I think when we can come and remind ourselves that however people are with us often, most of the time, sometimes love, it's something we still you're not having that experience of like frustration, anxiety, right? Upset at the end of the day.
yeah, but I think sometimes it's an ego clash. So, for example,
All of it is an ego.
yeah, like for example, parents, they're used to being parents. They're used to telling their kids what to do, right? But as the kids become adults, then there's this clash.
Right.
Like, okay, you're overstepping your boundaries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as they get older, they might not be so in touch with society, you know, with the latest technology or whatever's going on, right? So sometimes you don't want to let go of the, hey, I'm the, you know, like leader of the family, or I'm the, do you know what I mean? Like, this is my dominion. They don't want to let go of that kingship or queenship.
Yeah, because you know why?
Why?
Because it's their purpose in life. And when they spend 18, 20 years, that is their whole purpose in life, is to protect and have this child survive and grow. And all of a sudden, there's a moment where the kid goes, I don't need you anymore.
Oh!
And the parent is like, what?
Right.
What do you mean I don't need what am I supposed to do with my life now? Because it's been all about you. And so that's where the clash is. It's like the mom's still trying to get involved and do their job, but the child's like, I don't need you. You've done your job.
I'm an adult now.
Yeah. So like I see with my family, there's this big clash right now because my sister is married to we're Catholic, but my sister is married to a Jehovah's Witness. But before he was a Jehovah's Witness, he was an atheist. And so my sister has stopped going to church. But now there's this clash because my mom is frustrated because her daughter, who's now 9, is kind of in this limbo between Jehovah's Witness and Catholicism, which is very different. And then of course my mom, as my sister's mother, wants my sister to go to church so that she's saved and all the things that she believes, and she's having a really hard time letting go. And I can see my mom, she's making it mean that she's been a failure, that she failed as a mother.
Really?
And I said to my mom, like, Mom, she's 44, actually 45 now. She can do, actually no, she's 44. She can do whatever she wants. She's a big girl. And for my mom, she still can't let that go.
But don't you think religion is a personal choice?
Of course, but I mean, when you are so like God is everything, and all of a sudden you have a child.
Also, it's every aspect of life. Oh, I see.
Where my sister is just not in that same realm. My mom's like, well, what did I do wrong? But it's hard for her to let go.
Comprehend that.
Yeah, and to let go. But even for me, she's still a little like, but I accept it. Like I see that as love, and so I don't resist it.
Well, I think, you know, from my own experience, at a certain point in my life, I let go of fighting. Because she needs to be right, you know? And I'm like, well, sometimes it's not about right or wrong, it's about your values, right? Like, we may have different values, but it's not like, okay, you're wrong and I'm right, or you're right and I'm wrong. You know, we can just coexist peacefully together. We can let the love rise above the, you know, the different sets of values, right? So I learned to shut up and just
Thanks for your input. That's what I said to my mom. I don't argue or disagree with her. Like, thanks for your input. That doesn't mean I have to follow what she says.
right.
But at the end of the day, I want my mom to feel acknowledged for her contribution, because what's the opposite of parents who don't give a crap about their kids, or parents or kids that don't give a crap about their parents? And it's just, I would much rather have what I have than the opposite. So I'm just grateful. I'm so loved.
So from what we talked about, these are more from our own personal experiences, but do you see a lot of these kind of conflicts in your clients?
100%. 100%. Everyone who comes to me thinks the problem is with the other person.
So they want solutions how to change the other person.
Yeah.
Well, that's impossible.
Yeah. So that's the first shift that I need them to get, because oftentimes they're like, I want to save my marriage, but I don't know if my partner wants to, so what do I do? Well, you know what? job, let them do them. You work on you. You be the best you can be the best partner you can be, and see a shift.
Because right now in China, there's a really, really famous TV show. It's based on three couples that are having serious marital problems, and they come to this show, and 2 of the 6 characters or people have serious narcissistic personalities, and you can see how their level of selfishness, their level of manipulation, and like lying, and all sorts of, and it is like the talk of town, and everyone's just like, wow, like, what do you do when your partner is, that kind of personality, and they're calling the shots and taking over the finances, taking over the decision making, and also all the parenting decisions, and yeah, what do you do in that situation?
It's actually quite easy. And I don't have all day to tell it, but it's very common.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
There are a lot of narcissistic? Like, I've never seen anything.
And honestly, if you really read about narcissism, we all have some sort of, as I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm narcissistic. But I think it's just
Have
a
some
label.
tendencies?
Yeah, for sure. I think we all have our selfish moments. We all have the moments we don't crap about what other people think. I think a lot of it is just programming and conditioning. And again, when we can really come back to ourselves and love ourselves enough, then we can actually love others. But until we love ourselves enough, and I think that's what it comes down to. I believe that narcissism is a function of a lack of self-love, therefore a lack of love for others. Because they haven't learned the value called love. Like, people say to me all the time, Jeanell, I want to forgive, but I don't know how. So here's why. There's obviously something that you need to forgive yourself for. Because how can you forgive somebody else when you don't even know what forgiveness feels like? So how can you give it away? And so
No, but it seemed like they lost the ability to ability to love, but also the ability to notice love. Because their partners were doing all sorts of lovely things for them. And they're just like, I was like, really? Like, her husband flew to another city to get her favorite food. And when she got it, like, it was a bunch of desserts. She's like, the first flavor wasn't her favorite, so she started to bitch. I was like, your husband flew thousands of miles to get your favorite dessert. She bought all the dessert flavors. You just didn't see your favorite dessert in the first moment. And I was like, how can someone be so ungrateful? Like, I was flabbergasted by her reaction. But it just seemed like...
See, but for me, I wouldn't see that as being ungrateful. Just like, oh, she didn't like it, okay. But if he made it mean that she was ungrateful, see, that's the thing. You make it mean something. Just because she said, oh, I don't like this flavor, equals she's ungrateful. No. I don't like this flavor equals she doesn't like the flavor. It doesn't mean she's not grateful, but we make it mean that.
I see. So it's also my interpretation.
Right. So if you in your life have often felt ungrateful, that will trigger, oh, I'm ungrateful. So for example, for couples who deal with I'm not good enough, no matter what their client or their partner says, which is positive, which is appreciative, they can't even hear it. All they're going to hear is the negative. All they're going to hear is the negative, and anything that sounds remotely even tiny negative, they automatically say, oh, so they're saying I'm not good enough. That's not what I said. Yeah. So that's
so
the
it's
word.
also the way you view the world. It's not even what actually happens. Wow. That's a whole nother world.
Yeah. So for example, like with my dad leaving, my dad leaving and my dad had an affair. But I made it mean that when my dad left, that he didn't love me. I made my dad leaving saying, oh, I can't trust men. Oh, people I love to leave me. That's not true. What happened was my dad left. That's it. And then I made up everything else.
Wow.
That I'm
So
worthy.
so contextualizing it. So we create our own hell, because you paint it in misery, so all you see is misery.
Which is superhuman, because at the end of the day, we're here to survive. And if putting up those defensive walls that makes us feel safe, that's what we're going to do, even though it's not real. So many people live in these shells and these walls, trying so hard to look good, to protect their own survival, which is great, but the impact, the cost of that is you never get to fully be seen, fully be vulnerable, fully connect in an
Fully be authentic.
Authentic, yeah.
Right.
Because you're too busy making sure that nobody crashes into your fort. But,
Right.
And that's why love is so scary.
Right. Well, I think a lot of people are going to learn a lot from you. You have an upcoming retreat. Tell us about that.
So I work with most of my clients online because most of them are international. But I really started to think like, I miss meeting with people.
Oh, nothing beats a one-on-one, is it?
And also, like, I want to travel more.
Uh-huh.
So I was starting to think, like, how can I travel?
Yeah.
I'm all about creating a life that, like, of everything, like abundance, having it all. So I'm like, how can I have it all? How can I work, travel, and see my clients in person and cause transformation as quickly as possible? I feel like my business is like the ER of love, and they come in like in, having heart attack. The ER of love.
So you're saying their relationship is hanging by a thread?
Yeah, a lot. They're like
So they're
on the bridge.
crying.
Oh, they're like
down.
on the, like, figuratively, they're on the bridge ready to jump.
Oh,
And
that's
they're like,
scary.
It is scary.
There aren't that many. I've never heard about relationship coach. I've heard a lot of personal coaches and business coaches, but never a marital or relationship coach. Are you one of the only ones, or are there other people?
There are others. They all do it a little bit different. A lot of them do it very sort of religious, Bible-based. For me, I really love sort of the cognitive, behavioral, habit-changing, empowering, really distinguishing what are you going to need to let go of in order to become the person you want to be.
Right. And your June retreat is where?
My June retreat is happening on the West Coast in Tainamara. It's a beautiful seaside
that's
spa.
a beautiful place.
Yes, and it's really for couples that need to reconnect to each other.
Is it a weekend? Or?
It is 4 days, so 3 nights. And so there's a workshop portion, there's going to be spa time, there's time to go to nature, time to connect, there's going to be super fun, and of course, spa time and eating time. And the West Coast just is the most, to me,
That sounds like a fabulous time to reconnect and rekindle the fire.
Right, and so especially for men, they want a great relationship with you. They want to do therapy. They want to do counseling. A retreat is a fun way to really step into doing the work
And rejuvenate.
and rejuvenate at the same time. So I'm super excited.
How much is it?
It's $1,400 per person.
Oh, that's not
That
bad.
includes,
That includes a hotel and everything?
Yep.
That's amazing.
and that's an ocean view
Oh,
suite too.
very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. And I hear you also have monthly events. Didn't you say there was like a dinners couple with
Yes.
karaoke?
Yes,
That
so-
sounded like so much fun.
Yeah, so every couple months I'm planning sort of small dinners with couples to talk, to share, to learn.
Is it kind of like date night or what actually?
Yeah,
happens?
it's kind of a date night, but also a date night that there's like meaningful conversation.
Is it facilitated by you or are you just the organizer?
I'm hosting it
Okay.
and and causing the movement of conversation. Because there's so many juicy conversations we have, but we don't know how to start it. We don't know how to navigate it, and so having someone like me to really, guide
Do you give
that
them topics
conversation.
to start? Because I find that couples on the rocks don't talk to each other. They don't sleep together. They don't, you know what I mean? They're just like almost like roommates that hate each other. Like, how do you get the conversation started that way? Well, you
I don't know my magic. It just happens. I just stand from a place of love, and I just open my mouth. It's just,
Well, it sounds like this will drastically help a person because when you have healthy relationships, it also affects your work. It affects your relationship with your kids.
Your
It
health.
affects your health, right?
energy, everything.
Because I think that when people are upset or angry or sad or depressed, they eat more or they do
Self-loathing,
self-destructive.
self-sabotage.
Yeah, they smoke or drink or do a lot of self-sabotage health-wise, right? So, any tips for our Social Butterfly Club members if they are in a crappy relationship or a crappy point in their life? And
Call me.
okay, besides calling you, three wisdoms.
Be the change you wish to see.
Also, you gotta add yourself.
Yeah, if you want respect, but you're not willing to give it, well, that's not
Right.
Secondly,
So do what you say. Do what you want your partner to do.
Right. Secondly, I would say is work on loving yourself. I think we have this idea that self-love, self-care is selfish, and if we don't take care of ourselves, we cannot be any good to anybody. That's the second thing. And the third thing is learn to communicate. If you don't know how to communicate, take classes. I teach them.
I think Canadians are too passive aggressive. They rather run away than real heart-to-heart talk. It's too difficult. It's too yucky. Like, they get grossed out. They're like, I can't deal with it. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Congratulations on all you've done. And I wish you all the best in your upcoming couples retreat and with your. I think everybody could use relationship coaching because. High school, university certainly don't teach emotional intelligence or how to deal with, when you're like steaming mad. I mean, some people even kill others, right? So we hear all these crazy crimes and we're just like, wow, what pushed that person that far? They were a model citizen and then next they're in jail for murder. It's like, what happened? Like, what snapped in their brain to make, someone go like that? But I think a lot of people just don't have the tools or the knowledge to deal with whatever situation. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and how do people find you, Jeanell?
They can find me at JeanellGreene.com or at Save Our Marriage.
Oh, that's easy enough. High five.
Thanks.